This is our year to arise. The month of January, our focus was on arise to responsibility. Arise to what? This month, the Lord has spoken to us as He brought His word to us in the prophetic entry, that is our season to arise to take over. And I believe that the takeover grace is available to somebody. I'm going to be taking us on the word this morning. And there are a number of truths that you will need to put down. I know some of us have a culture of taking notes when the word is coming. Some of us rely on the capacity of our brain to store them. But trust me, you would remember for as long as the service is running. And by the time you get home and you sleep one night, the next day, a few of those things would have dropped off. They said a short pen is better than a long memory. A short pen is better than a long memory. And someone once said that God didn't give us our brain for storage. He gave it to us for processing. But some people are using it for storage. So they don't have enough capacity to process. There are other storage plates. The note is for storage. The brain is for processing. When your brain is overcrowded with storage, there is no room for processing. So use the brain for what is being given to you for. To do what? To process things. So when you don't task the brain with the responsibility of storage, it frees it up to process things. As things come, the capacity to reason them and to think them through in wisdom is there. But when it's crowded, it's too much on my mind, too much on my mind. Why? Because a lot of it is taken up for storing. It's I have too much on my mind. Why are you keeping them all there? Put them on paper. Put them where? Down on paper. Write them down so there won't be too much there. So the next one coming, there's capacity to process it, to reason it. When you use the brain for storage, you can lose sleep. I couldn't sleep last night because my mind was just full. Of course it's full. You are using it as a storage. Offload it, put it on paper, and keep it clear so that there is room to think the next thing. There is room to what? To think the next thing. The next thing that comes to you, you can process it. You put it down. I will remember. Write it down. Write it down. You will not remember. If you are told a phone number now, phone number is 11 digits. A message you will be preaching here will be about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. If we tell you the phone number now, by the time you have drunk the after-service tea, you may not remember that phone number. You may not remember. You say, hey, what was that number again? What was that number? I know it was 07. Every number starts with 07. Glory to God. Glory to God. So that's to say, develop the habit of writing. Of doing what? Of writing. Write things down. Write things down. Write things down. There are many of you here. There are times that some great ideas hit you. Huh? It's a great idea. I will remember it. You won't remember it. You won't. You will start thinking later. You will not write something, but the statement will not be in sequence. Even as a preacher, there are times that I'm driving and certain revelations hit me. I look for where to park. So you can write it down. Or you say, no, I trust my brain. After I will get to where I'm going in 30 minutes. Of course, yes, you will get there in 30 minutes, quite all right. But as you have 5 minutes later, somebody will call you. There will be a phone call. And it will download their problems. You will now help them out in counseling the problem and all of that. As you are counseling the problem, you are counseling the revelation that you were storing on your brain. What that book will produce is way, way more than it will take to pay the driver. You must work on your mind. You must work on your mind. When you don't know why people do things, you criticize it. Because you are judging everything by your level. You judge the world by your level. You judge systems by your level. You judge people by your level. But the world is more than your level. The world is more than your level. That's why today, God will be upgrading your mindset to a takeover mindset. Tell your neighbor, I'm taking over. I can hear you now. Say, I'm taking over. I can't hear you now. Say, I'm taking over. If I stop in what I have said now, somebody is already blessed. You have already learned something. There's already something to go on with. There's already something to go with. There's already something to go and work with. If I stop with this. I've not started my introduction yet. But that's truth that changes life. Our primary text for the month is Numbers 13 verse 30. Numbers 13 and verse 30. It said, then Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and take possession, for we are well able to overcome it. Please take note. Then Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and take possession, for we are well able to overcome it. Our focus is on the bracket that says, let us go up at once and take possession. Let us go up means arise. And take possession means take over. So that's where our team is coming from. Arise to take over. Let us go up at once. That's arise. In summary. And take possession, it means what? Take over. Arise to take over. In other words, Caleb was saying, let us arise to take over, for we are well able to overcome it. Please take note. That is our central point. But I need you to see two factors around it. First factor is the fact that it says, then Caleb quieted the people. He did what? He quieted the people. I won't be dwelling on that today. In the course of the month, I probably will get there at some point. But he quieted the people. In order for you to rise, there are things presently in your life you must quiet. He quieted the people. Unless you quiet those things, you may never rise. He quieted the people. Quieted the people means he shut the people down. To rise, there are doors you must shut. There are doors you must do what? Shut. There are doors you must shut. Haven't you heard the saying? They say birds of the same feathers flock together. So there are birds you are flocking with who have reached their maximum height. Am I talking to somebody here? They have reached the maximum height they can go. And you desire a rise. He quieted the people. Oh, there was a great crowd that left Egypt, but not all was destined to get to Canaan. If you keep tying your apron, we started primary school together. Oh, my closest friend, and that's what is pulling you back. Your rise is not in view. Your rise is not in view. He quieted the people. We will deal with that later. I'm just giving you an intro into it. I know there are people here who have a mindset of revelation that the intro I've given to that is enough for them to go and explore scriptures and just run. And I felt to just give you a bit of light into that today. On the other side, concluding part of that, he said, we are well able to overcome it. So it's not a problem with ability. We are well able. If it's not a problem of ability, then you must ask yourself. That's how I read scripture, my dear. What then is the problem? We are well able. Not I am well able. He was speaking to everybody. We are well able. If you follow the trail of his story, you find that only 2 people emerged out of that entire crowd. But everyone had the ability. So ability don't give you a rise. There are other factors. Everyone per se has the ability to rise. Can I say that again? Everyone. How many people have the ability to rise? Everyone. Everyone has the ability to rise. So it's not an issue of ability. 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 Everyone has the ability to rise. We are well able. Even those who were saying we are like grasshoppers, even those who were saying we can't do it, even those who say, oh, the way we saw ourselves, he said, it's there. The problem is not ability. The problem is not ability. So if the problem is not ability, then what is it? What is the problem? That's the question now we must answer. I'm giving you things to explore in this month. That I've said a few things now, but if they sink, the things I've just said now, from when I picked the mic to this point, if they sink into you, you go home and dwell on them, you will have a notebook full of truths that will change your life forever. Forever. While we're driving to church today, we're saying to our children, you must settle down to think. Think. They're in the back seat. He said, think. The ability is already there. Start thinking. Listen to what is being said. Take it and process it. Thinking. People are not thinking. People are not thinking. People are not thinking. They are allowing CNN to think for them. BBC to think for them. They are not thinking. So there's one man on the who's written the news in a way that he wants you to reason. So he fashions your line of thought. How do you know that? Listen to the same news in 2 different channels. Not channels that are all in one line. For instance, I was in the US, I was telling my wife, you listen to a news on CNN, who is against the president, and you listen to a news on Fox News, who is in support of the president, the same news. It's the same news, but it depends on who you are listening to. We determine your view. Then you discover that what is being presented to you is one man's thought, not the truth. So it's like, it's the truth, it's the truth. How do you know it says CNN said it? Huh? CNN. Look at the other side. So give yourself to think. He said the ability for the rise is there. It's not a matter of ability. It's not a matter of ability. Okay, so let's go to the middle where we are dealing with. Time permits us in the month, we would look at, we're in the center of something. Arise to take over. There are elements before, there are elements after. And I've just given you some intro into them, which is vital for your lifting. Somebody say amen. I can hear you now. Somebody say amen. So he said, let us go up at once and take possession, for we are well able to overcome it. In Judges chapter 11 and verse 24, the Bible says, in Judges 11:24, will you not possess whatever, that is children of God speaking to others, will you not possess whatever Chemosh, your God, gives you to possess? Talking to idol worshippers. He says, so whatever the Lord our God takes possession of before us, we will possess. Please take note here. Will you not possess whatever Chemosh, your gods, your idols, gives you to possess? He said, so also in the same vein, whatever our God has taken possession of before us, we will possess. So the fact that God has taken possession of it does not mean he's in your hand. The fact that God has taken possession of it does not mean it's in your hand. The reason you see it in vision, the reason it crosses your mind as an idea is to indicate to you that God has taken possession of it before you. The reality then is still waiting for you to take. You can't dream of it if God has not taken possession of it. You can't conceive it as an idea. Remember, how do you know that, Pastor? Remember, the Bible says that what he has for you, you have not even thought of it. So your thought is still below the weight of what he has. It means that whatever you can think now is less than actually the amount of what he has. So in essence, I am saying that whatever you are able to conceive as an idea is an indication that God has taken possession of it before you. But it is waiting for you to possess it. I don't know if this thing is making sense to somebody. He said, will you not possess whatever Chemosh, your God, has given to you to possess? He said, so whatever our God has taken possession of before us, we will possess. Oh, God has it for me. That's good. That's great. But will you take it? Will you take it? God has it for me. That's true. I agree with you. But will you take it? Will you take it? Will you take it? The value of the truths coming to you from this altar is priceless. I'm telling you now, it's priceless. Enough to revolutionize your life. If you take them in, sit on them, dwell on them, deliberate on them, expand them, and ask yourself how you can apply them and apply them. He said this is what he asked for us. So people of God, it is essential therefore that we understand that God is giving us the capacity. Remember I said the problem is not ability. to take over whatever he has already taken possession of before us. So the day you dreamt of that business, it was an indication that God has taken possession of it before you, now waiting for you to take over. The day you thought of that house, that property, is an indication that God has already taken possession of it before you, now waiting for you to possess it. The day I read the scripture and I saw that it said, "Oh no man, nothing." But look, "Oh no man, nothing." And it dawned on me that, hey, I know that I don't do debts, credit card, but we have a mortgage. That must be a debt. And I called my wife. I said, this is what the scripture says. Say, "Oh no man, nothing." It must include mortgage. So we need to be mortgage free. Guess what was happening? He has taken possession of the mortgage free miracle for me. It is now for me to what? Take possession of it. And oh yes, we did. Oh yes, we did what? We did. He's taken possession of it for you so that you might take possession. Let me show you a few things, because you see, the devil would start playing in your mind, oh, because of this or because of that. Judges chapter 7, from verse 1 to 9. I'll just read it quickly, and I will draw out maybe 4 truths from there. Please help me with that. Judges 7, 1 to 9. Some of you will know the story. It said, "Then Jerubbaal, that is Gideon, and all the people who were with him, rose early and encamped beside the well of Harod, so that the camp of the Midianites was on the north side of them by the hill of Moreh in the valley." Verse 2. It said, "And the Lord said to Gideon, the people who are with you are too many." What did the Lord say? The people who are with you are what? Are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands. What you are used to is that don't say the people who are with you are too small to achieve this thing. When somebody says the people are too many for me to achieve this victory for you, call the number down. If there are too many, God, we should be happy. It means that we have excess. Okay. He said to give the Midianites into your hand. He said, "Lest Israel claim glory for itself against me, saying, my own hand has saved me." Verse 3. He said, "Now therefore, proclaim in the hearing of the people, saying, whoever is fearful and afraid, let him turn and depart at once from Mount Gilead." And 22,000 of the people returned, and 10,000 remained. So there were a total of 32,000 people. He said, make an announcement. Whoever is afraid, let him go back. Yeah, and they went back. Let me tell you, remember that he said the people are too many for me to give you this. He said, lest when they will say is their hand. The reason you don't have all the capital for the business is because God don't want you to take the glory. You are waiting for everything to add up before you move. God is saying it will never add up until you move. Because if he adds up, at the end, you will take the glory. You will not remember that it is me. The miracle is in your insufficiency. The miracle is in your insufficiency, your inability. The fact that 1 + 1 is not adding up. That's where the miracle is. And I say, Lord, I really want to do this thing. I really want to do this thing. If only you can give me this. God said, the one you have is too many. It's too many. Because if we say, yes, because of this and this, I was able to do this. God said, no. God likes it when, my dear, when I started, I didn't know how this thing was going to work. I just stepped out in faith. And boom, it happened. Give me the scripture up there. Okay, we're in verse 4. It said, but the Lord said to Gideon, the people are still too many. They are still too many. 32,000 have gone home, only 10 left. He said, they are still too many. Bring them down to the water, and I will test them for you there. Then it will be that of whom I say to you, this one shall go with you, the same shall go with you. And of whomever I say to you, this one shall not go with you, the same shall not go. Verse 5. Let's go. It says, so he brought the people down to the water. And the Lord said to Gideon, everyone who laps from the water with his tongue, as a dog laps, you shall set apart by himself. Likewise, everyone who gets down on their knees and kneel down on his knee to drink, you will send home. He said, and the number of those who lapped, putting their hand to their mouth, was 300 men. But all the rest of the people got down on their knees to drink water. So we're talking about 10,000 people, 300 out of it, 9,700 went on their knees. Verse 7. Then the Lord said to Gideon, by the 300 men who lapped, I will save you and deliver the Midianites into your hand. Let all the other people go, every man to his place. Verse 8. So the people took provisions and their trumpets in their hands, and he sent them away, all the rest of Israel, every man to his tent, and retained those 300 men. Now the camp of Midian was below him in the valley. Verse 9, which is the last verse I want to read. It happened on the same night that the Lord said to him, arise. Do what? Arise. I can't hear you now. Do what? Arise. When you had surplus, he did not command the arise. It's if those days when I used to have money, that's when this business idea came, I would have started it. We were too many. The money was too much. Where will God fit into the plan? Am I talking to somebody here? But that's not where I'm going. It happened on the same night that the Lord said to him, arise, go down against the camp, for I have delivered it into your hand. Arise and go and take over by the hands of this few. Okay, I'm just laying the foundation for this month in this subject, because I'm sure you can already see that we have a lot of journey to go. So travel with us this month. Glory. It's amazing when God opens scriptures to you. It's a blessed thing. Not everyone has that grace. Lord. Anyone feeling blessed this morning? Okay. All right, so I want to draw out 4 truths. 4 truths. I know that I've already danced into a few things in the process of reading, but follow me. Number 1 truth I want you to go home with. Yeah? Put it as lessons from Gideon in taking over, or lessons from Gideon's army in taking over. Yeah? Let me give you 4. You ready? We ready? Okay, I'm glad that you're writing. I mean, think about it. The things I've shared already, if you didn't write them down, how many do you think you remember? There are some that you cannot remember. You didn't even catch. Okay, number 1, from lessons from Gideon's army on taking over. Number 1, it doesn't take a multitude to take over. It takes fearless men. It doesn't take a multitude to do what? To take over. What does it take? It takes fearless men. Can put / women. It doesn't take a multitude to take over. It takes fearless men. It doesn't take a multitude. It doesn't take a multitude. No. So don't let the excuse fool you. God said the number is too much. Bring it down. In fact, go and announce to them, anyone who is afraid and fearful should go home. Out of 32,000 men, about 2/3 went home. No, more than 2/3. 22,000 withdrew and went home. So stop making the excuse, if only we were big. It doesn't take a multitude to take over. What does it take? Fearless men. We will show you what it means to take over because of the month. But all these truths, you need to get them because they are undergirding factors that will help you. So number one, I'm saying it doesn't take a multitude to take over. It takes fearless men. I'm going to try and move with speed. And I may not have time to break down some of these things, but we'll open them up in the course of the month. Because I have to get to South London as well to deliver a word today. Number two, it doesn't take a crowd to take over. It takes God. It doesn't take a crowd to take over. It takes God. It doesn't take a crowd to take over. What does it take? It takes God. He said, if God be for us, who can be against us? If God be for us. That's why Moses said, if you will not go with us, let us stay here. At least I can hear you here. At least I can hear you here. So I know you are here. If I have no guarantee that you are going with us, then I'd rather stay here where you are. I'd rather stay here where you are. Why? Because he understands that it does not take a crowd to take over. It takes God. It takes God. It takes God. I mean, think about it. In one occasion, God sent one angel in one night. In one night. To go and fight for Israel. One angel. Only the angel, one, not two. One. He brought down, 85,000? 185,000 people one angel brought down in one night. The army of a nation waged against one angel for one night battle. They suffered the loss of 185,000 of their military men. One angel. It was not God that came. He sent one angel. The people that were brought down were not civilians, trained soldiers. They have fought before. They know what it means to fight. They didn't know where the thing was hitting them from. One wave of the sword, 1,000 goes down. If I say, hey. So it doesn't take a crowd to take over. It takes God. What does it take? I can't hear you now. What does it take? It takes God. Please, all of these truths are pregnant. Take it that the message I'm preaching to you today is a pregnant message. Every line is pregnant. We will open it up later. It doesn't take a crowd to take over. It takes God. What does it take? I can't hear you now. What does it take? It takes God. It takes God. If God be for us. So the question we ask ourselves often is this question. Is God in it? Is God in it? If God is in it, then we are in it. If God is in it, we are in it. Hey, Pastor, how do you know it will work? God is in it. Or do we have this? Do we have that? We don't need to have it. God is in it. God is in it. If God is in it, then everything is in it. So it doesn't take God. Somebody say it doesn't take God. Okay, number 3. No, it doesn't take a crowd. It takes God. Number 3 now. Are you with me? Number 3. It doesn't take numbers to take over. It takes focus. It doesn't take numbers. And I put there in bracket, whether the numbers is in persons or in money in your bank account. It takes focus. It doesn't take numbers to take over. It takes what? Focus. It doesn't take numbers. I'm drawing these lessons from Gideon. It doesn't take numbers to take over. It takes focus. It takes focus. I'll show you now. The Bible says when they were reduced to 10,000 men, 22,000 went home. The Lord said, the number is still too much. This number is still too much. Gideon, need you to understand that it doesn't take numbers. Sometimes number can be a liability. 5 focused, hard-working men is better in achieving a goal than if you have 50 guys, 5 focused, 45 unfocused. The 45 unfocused, we unfocus the focused. They will unfocus the focus. So it doesn't take numbers. He said, hey, check the crowd around you. Where are they heading to? He said, I know that my friends are not really focused, are not really, but I know myself, they can't influence me. It's a matter of time. It's a matter. I know that they are bad friends, but it's just that they are my friends. Wait. I know what I'm doing. We all know what we are doing. Understand this. Even the journey in God takes time. The journey in God takes time. That's why you are at advantage when you start early. There are truths I enter into now. It's not because, this Pastor Moses, this young man. He can be young in age. You don't know when he started. It takes time. It takes time. The journey in God takes time. What I will see in a verse, you may not see it. You can read it from now till tomorrow. You may not see it too. The journey in God takes time. In the same way, an unfocused crowd, you are with them. The first day you will be fine. The first year you may even be fine. A few years you will be fine. The day that we will discover that the unfocused crowd has unfocused you, even you will be surprised with yourself. You'll be surprised with yourself. Because you will not know that things have been dripping in unnoticed. You will always feel you are still in charge. You are still in control. You know what you are doing. Oh, yeah, I hang around there, but it doesn't influence me. You will still feel that way. We all feel that way. Until actions begin to say different. Am I talking to somebody here? So God said, the number is too much. Bring it down. Said, I will test them for you. That's why I said, it doesn't take numbers. It takes focus. Yeah. Follow me now. Are you with me? So God took them there. He said, okay, let them drink water. Just watch them as they drink. He said, those who would lap as a dog, basically, they would take the water. The dog does it with his tongue, but they would take it and lap. He said, there are others who will go there and kneel down and put their head inside the water. Say, hey, water is here. He said, let those ones go home. You know what God was saying? He was saying that those who will see provision and still have their eyes on the vision, they will go with you. Those who will bury their sight on the provision, send them home. Those who will see supply. That's why some people don't grow. Because they see small money, their eye become buried in it. Because the one who can drink of the provision and still have their eyes on the goal. The one who will not now become regulated and led by the provision. But we know that, listen, this provision is just a supply on our way to a vision. Should I still go on? Okay, I'll go on for a few minutes. Because I'm conscious of reaching the brethren there. Those ones will be the ones that will take over. And, believe it or not, in a crowd of 32,000, they couldn't find 10%. What is 300? What's the percentage of 300 in 32,000? 1%? Less than 1%. Less than 1%. And that's the factor governing it. 1%. Now, if you go and check statistics of how many percentage of the population is the wealth of the world concentrated in, you will find this scripture play out there. People are looking at me seriously this morning. Are you with me? Was not up to 10%. Less than 1%, because 1% of 32,000 will be about 320 people. Is that not so? 320. We didn't get 320. So it was 0 point something percent that were in the mindset, the makeup, what it takes to take over. Remember, they were all an army. They went to the same army training school. So the problem was not ability. You remember what I told you before? Everyone had ability. Some of them graduated from the military training the same day. It does not take numbers. It takes focus. It's not the balance in your bank account. Does not take numbers. It's not how many people are supporting you. It does not take numbers. It takes focus. Okay, I'll leave it there. We will open it up better later. Let me give you one more. Glory to God. Number 4, it doesn't take your valuation of your abilities to take over. It takes God's valuation. It doesn't take your valuation of your ability. It takes God's valuation. For when the angel came to Gideon, he called him a mighty man of valor. They were in a siege. If you go and read the story of Gideon, how can you call me mighty man of valor? Are you serious? You must be joking. Can't you see who I am? Mighty man of valor. Why, sir? It does not take your valuation of your abilities to take over. It takes God's valuation. You are limited by your valuation. What's God's valuation of you? As a matter of fact, why are you valuing yourself? Are you a trained valuer? What do you know to value? Even property you want to buy, you can't value it. Even the ring you are wearing now and the gold chain on your neck, when you want to know the value, you go to a trained valuer. Why are you valuing yourself? You could not make a hair on your head. Why are you valuing yourself? Why are you valuing yourself? Why don't you check out the valuation of the one, from the one who made you? It does not take your valuation of your abilities to take over. It takes God's valuation. Gideon, mighty man of valor. He looked around. Who are you talking to? Is there another Gideon here? Shubarasketo lakataya. Glory to God. I think I have to stop here. I was going to give you today, among other things, keys to take over. But maybe we'll reserve that to next week. Let's rise. Rise to your feet. Have you received anything today? Please go dwell on what has been opened to you this morning. Reflect on it. Let it sink. Let it open up and move you to another place. It's a season to take over. It's a season to take over. I'm discovering here, you have no right to value yourself. Oh, sister, come and do this. I can't do it. I don't have the ability. Who said? Is it you saying or God saying? Who said? Is it you or God? What's the valuer saying? What's the valuer saying? What's the valuer saying? Were you there when you were created? Were you there when you were created? Were you there to choose what to be put in you and what not to be put there? No. Somebody put them there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let him value you. Why are you getting yourself depressed by the valuation that an employment interview team gave to you? Why? They didn't make you. Oh, am I talking to somebody here? He said, oh, Pastor, I'm feeling very depressed. Why? He said, they said I'm not qualified. Who qualifies you? Why are you taking to heart an assessment? It's like somebody walking down the street. I said, oh, this property must be about 1 million. It doesn't make it 1 million. The bank will not accept that. They will have to appoint a trained, certified valuer to go and value it. He will come, he will measure, he will look, he will take pictures, he will check some things. There are some things he will be seeing you cannot see. Then when he go back, he will make his conclusion that this is the value of this property. That's what a bank set up by human being will accept. Are you following me here? Then you, as a being, you are walking down the street. He said, the man said, I'm stupid. Then you are crying. Did he make you? Oh, the way my boss spoke to me, he just talked me down. You can't talk me down. How can you talk me down when you didn't make me? You can't talk me down. You can't talk me down. I'm not a product of your assessment. I'm not a product of your assessment. There's one who values me. I choose not to be valued by those who have no knowledge of valuation. Understand truth and be free. Well, come back next Sunday and I will continue. Lift your two hands to heaven. Give God praise for what you have received this morning. Give him praise, give him praise, give him praise, give him praise. Come on, everybody. Give him praise.